As you're hearing in the background is the niggin, the song of the Holy Balatanya. Today's is your tzeit. Just talking from the Balatanya is just, I feel trembling in me, which I try to learn almost every day, Tanya, which this is one of the very strong parts in Chassidus, that it connects your soul. And he talks a lot about the Nefesh Elokis and Nefesh Bahamis, how this connects to Hashem. Correlating, since it's the Balatanyus Yurtzeit, I just remember a small story, and I will tie it up to the Sedra. When the Balatanya was by the end of his days, he was laying in bed, obviously very weak, and he asked his grandchild, he was looking up to the roof from his bed, "What do you see?" And his grandchild didn't know what to answer him. Obviously, the Rebbe wants to say something. So he says, "Zaidi, what do you see?" "Oh, I see the letters Ki, Vov, Resh, Hey, which is the spelling of Koire, which means the beam that holds up the roof." So what did he see? He saw letters. We know that Hashem created the entire world with the holy olive base, the letters, the Torah. Every letter individual is extremely holy. The Medrash Talpias tells us that in every letter the numerical value is 26, and he has a whole mapping how that looks, because he's putting together, each letter is also put together from Vavs and Yis and Aleph. So it means each and every letter indicates the holy name, which is Yid Kai Vuf Kai, which is the name that we don't say, doesn't even exist, we don't even relate to, we're not allowed to say it. It's called Le'olam Hanelam, the hidden name, because Hashem is hidden to us. And Hashem is really not identified by his name, because he is Ein Sof, we can't even grasp. We only have permission to say that, to call him by the way we will identify him, which brings us Ein Sof, which brings down light. And Hashem is also known by 12 names. The Yid Kai Vuf Kai is put together from Hashem Melech, Hashem Molech, Hashem Yimlech, which is also connected to this week's Parsha. That Hashem is here forever, and it's Hashem's name is Zed. The Baal HaTurim says 12, with 12 tzirifim. There's a lot of letters that contains in Hashem's name. So why are we talking about names? This week's Parsha is Eile Shamo B'nai Yisrael. The Holy Moranayim tells us, the Eile Shamo B'nai Yisrael, these are the names, the holy names, from every single Jew, every single person that is holy. That means Hashem, and it's known from Tzaddikim that every letter and every word in the Torah is Hashem's name. So if we know that every name and every letter has Hashem in it, has Yid Kai Vov Kai in it, and Hashem is telling us that this is exactly what's happening, that these are the names. So a person is supposed to know, as the Balatanya tells us, that we have the Achelik Elekai Mimal Mamish in ourselves. We are manifesting much deeper than our name also, and much deeper than the way we look and who we are. There's much more to us than a person can even grasp, and he really has to get into, or she has to get into that realm of knowing that there's a huge manifestation with every single person that is here, because Hashem wants you, and there's a connection from you to Hashem directly. So this is what the Torah is telling us. Hashem is telling us every unique person, every name, because we know that Hashem, we also say it in davening, that Hashem calls each star by its name. If Hashem is calling us, or calling his stars by names, and he's calling it every day, that's the way it says. So us, that we are his stars, and he put us down to manifest much more work than the actual star only has to shine in their way. We have to do a lot of different manifestations and shlichus that Hashem wants from us. It's called dir b'tachtonim. Hashem is living through us in this world. So we also see this week's Parsha, but we know it's the beginning of the Golus, so it's happening this week. In the Parsha Shamo, we're going down to Mitzrayim. What is Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim means restriction. That is what it's meant. And it means that no Yishav Adas, Golus Adas, we all the tzaddikim speak about it and talk about it, that if a person's mind is not where he is, as the Rabbi of Pesetzin always says, a person should give himself a minute and ask himself the question, or herself the question, what am I thinking now? Where am I at now? Who am I thinking of? Who is in charge? And we are not our thoughts, we're much bigger than our thoughts, to see where we're really at and to connect to Hashem. The Rabbi of Anipola, Rabbi Delai Bakoin from Anipola, which made a sefer which is called the Or Hagunas, says in this week's Parsha, Ve'ele Shamos B'nei Yisrael Haboim Mitzrayim. He says that the words of Tehillim is the Soife Taivis, meaning the end of these words, you'll check and you'll see that Tehillim comes out. That means a person says Tehillim, which again is a whole combination of letters and tefillahs that David HaMelech made. And David HaMelech was extremely vanis felusi. It means I am tefillah. His whole existence was tefillah. Tefillah means connection to Hashem. That means tefillah. So if you see, if Eilish Mos B'nai Yisrael, Haboy Mitzrayim, when Mitzrayim means coming into constriction, which we all have these times in individually and in the entire klal, everybody together. So there's two types of restrictions, and that's our galus that we're going through. The personal galus and the klalisdige galus. And that's where a person, you want to connect, you want to heal from that. It's with Tehillim you can connect. And as we see in this week's Parsha, that Pare asked Yocheved and Miriam, which is also called Shifru and Piu. The one is called Shifru, was making nice. The other one is Piu, was singing. We see also with love and connection how they were dedicated of bringing up Klal Yisrael and saving the Jewish children from the Mitzrayim. So Pare came and asked them, what's going on? I told you to throw each child into the water. Why are they living? What did they answer? So I was thinking in a different level. We know in Zohar all the time the neshama is called Isha, part of the in the Lashon Akeva of the femininity is the neshama. And they said, you know what? Our neshamas is not like the other things that people that you see around. It's much higher than that. It is something that we live just because we feel a vitality of Hashem, a connection. So we really have to tap into that. We have to go deeper. A person has to see. And even though we have restrictions, and everybody has their own restrictions in their life, it's not something that we should hide. We should be vulnerable about it, talk to Hashem about it, communicate. Part of the work that I discussed with someone this week is, and it's not that I'm in the same boat as everybody. I'm just the shofar that is blowing over here, but I'm just the balmakre. But I'm in the same. We always think that the speaker is in a different level. Totally not. I'm only bringing it into it's the things that I'm working on. And that's usually what I speak about or what I put a status on. It means I learned this today. This is what resonates with me today. This is where I am. This is where I want to go. And I'm trying to inspire whoever I can inspire. Whoever I inspire means that my neshama has something to tell that neshama. And if it's not that neshama, it means it's not meant for that. Then, they move on. I'm not meant for everybody. I just know what I have to do. So this is what these Shifra and Pir, the Miriam said. We are connected to Hashem, and our vitality is giving vitality. And if you give, you connect with others. And this is what we see also this week's Parsha, that Moshe said, why are you hitting your brother? Why are you hitting? And there's no hitting. Hitting can mean physically, it can be with words, it could be even thinking in your heart. The general rule is, and it's especially meant by children and parents, but it's meant also by friends, kamayim panam al panam. A person should know the way he thinks of someone else, even if you don't say the words, that has a huge impact. Nachman speaks about this, and he even brings down a pasuk, which I don't remember offhand, that it's, but we see it, we know it even in the therapeutic world, in an energetic world, we know that if a person manifests something, that's the way it will happen, that's the way it will happen, that's the way it will go. So we also see in the name of Hashem, where Moshe Rabbeinu went and he saw the burning bush, and Hashem showed him all the troubles and galus and that will be up until everything in Spanish Inquisition, Second World War, Hitler, Machshamoy, Corona, whatever is happening now in these days, everything Hashem. And he asked Hashem why, and Hashem says, I cannot tell you, up until there. So that means that really nobody, if Moshe was the closest person to Hashem, nobody will know what that means. But one thing Hashem told him, know my name. And Hashem, what's your name? Eke Asher Eke. I will be what I will be. I will be with you at all times. So the old Rebbe of Sadiger said, what does it mean Eke? Eke is 21. And Eke Asher Eke, he says, 21 times 21 equals to Emes, which is 440. He says, you should just be aware. Be connected to the Emes, to the truth. And it doesn't mean it's always going to be a pretty picture. It might be painful, but even if you know when the pain, it's connected to truth, it is easier to carry. We should not have pain, and connect to truth and be happy and connected in a good way. Actually, this is what the Holy Regina told us once, that he went up once to Shemaim and saw really it was a time of tzara at that time, and he saw in Shemaim everything made sense, but he says, you know what, Hashem, you can do both. It should make sense up there and it should make sense down here. So what did Hashem tell for Moshe? He says, take off your shoes, and the place where you're standing, that's holy. That means all of us. We know in the Kabbalah, we also know that the shoe is just like the guf, the body to the neshama. The same thing when we talk about, sometimes they talk in Kabbalah, they speak about the shoe to the foot, when the foot, and that's why unfortunately when somebody passes away, they take off right away the shoes because the neshama leaves. So there is a huge resemblance and parables between the neshama and the shoes. So what I'm seeing in these words, that if you take off your shoes, you see your neshama, every person is holy, every person has uniqueness, every person has a tafket, every person means something. And meaning trusting in yourself, knowing that you exist, knowing that you are meaningful, knowing that you're magnificent, knowing that you have a strong power and tefillah, knowing that you can connect to Hashem. Hashem is waiting for us until the end of days. We shall be zoichet to Mashiach tzidkeni b'mheri v'imeni. Amen.